Hey friends. Hey, this is Andrew Anderson. I have the privilege of being the director for Brothers and Mothers. We're a 501c3 crowd-funded nonprofit serving the homeless in San Luis Obispo. So last week I sent out an update or just a little shot off the bow and a request for people to pray. And I wanted to share this week just what God has been doing and some of the highlights of what God did. So usually I ask people to pray, but usually I don't, kind of share in detail, except in writing once in a while, what is happening, what happened. So what I'm going to share first of all is, you guys remember the two ladies that I spoke about last week, and the symphonic nature of change. So where some people engage the gospel or start to move towards health or move towards life, maybe start to think about recovery, and maybe there's just some movements in their life that will be more positive. So there's the symphonic nature. Sometimes people engage Jesus in the gospel, and they're there for a couple weeks, couple months, couple days, and then they'll go back to doing what they're used to. So a lot of us have been there, and we understand that. People on the street, it's no different. It's just that the extremes are a lot more extreme. So these two ladies. So the first lady that I shared about, I've known her for about a year, and she's been a heavy meth user. Weed and alcohol are just standard for everybody. Most people who are on the street. Sometimes people say, "Hey, I'm clean." What they mean is they're not using heroin or they're not using methamphetamine anymore, but they are actually using a ton of alcohol and marijuana. So for this lady, she was clean last week, and she was healthy. She was dating somebody that wasn't dating somebody who wasn't a heavy drug user, and she was moving towards Jesus in some capacity. She was worshiping at her Bible study. She was engaging me. Talking about things of life. So for her, after I sent that video, literally within 3 hours, I got a text from her, and she was borderline suicidal. And she was saying that she lost her faith and that she can't go on anymore. So I'm not sure where she's at right now. One of the things that happened is that her ex-husband had died recently, and obviously that's the huge crisis and burden that is going on in her life. So there's a lot of complexity to that, but she's also a lady. So I don't, as a rule, ministering the gospel and discipleship should not take place from men to women. So at a distance, I'll text her and talk to her and try to pass her off to the other ladies in our ministry. So with her symphony, right, she had a peak and then she's back down. I doubt that that's over, and I doubt that I know that God is not done working in her life, but it was really hard. Literally within 3 hours after I sent that video, she's like back to the darkness. So that was our one lady, and that's I regularly see this happen. You guys have to understand the last 15 years of being a residential case manager, a residential chaplain, an outreach chaplain at a big rescue mission, being a case manager, essentially operating as a social worker, a bunch of different roles. People are in and out, and it's really hard sometimes for people to start that traction and to move towards life. So just keep praying for lady number one. So lady number two is a different story. Lady number two, I saw her at the shelter on Friday night, and man, she looked so healthy and so happy. So I saw her, I'm like, "Sweetheart, how are you? It's good to see you." And she's like, "I'm doing great." She's like, "Andrew, everything is going well." She's like, I'm still clean, and doors are opening to me. So it was really encouraging. So I also heard from one of her ladies who leads the women's Bible study, Carol Barnes, that this lady was asking about a church. She's saying, "Hey, I want to go to this church. I want to go to church with my boyfriend. Like, where do I go? How do I get plugged in?" So this lady with her symphony of darkness, she was actively prostituting herself not long ago. Heavy drug user, brawler. She probably kicked the crap out of me or you if you mess with her. All that darkness and refrain, and then she has some light going on, and she's around believers and engaging. So that symphony, God is working her life, and she's managing. So lady number one hit a huge crisis. It's understandable. So there you go, up and down. So that's the first thing I want to share with you. Those two ladies, just please keep praying for them. And there's a lot of spiritual warfare too in these environments where somebody starts to walk with the Lord who has a huge history of, drugs and violence and alcohol. There's a lot of times where I will see huge crisis or, people that they love die, or things fall apart that were a little more stable for them. And there's huge testing right out of the gate. So sometimes testing comes really quick for people who are on the street or trying to turn towards Jesus. So God has his ways, but the spiritual warfare is real. So the second thing I want to share with you guys is that I had the privilege of doing worship for the ladies' Bible study at the Prado shelter. It was such a phenomenal experience. I almost couldn't even put it into words. So there was about 6 ladies in the study besides Janie and Carol. And this ladies' study, it's a support group Bible study that takes place at the shelter twice a month. They asked me to do worship this week, which was wonderful. So one of the ladies, let me just tell you about 3 of the ladies who were there. One lady, I spent some time with her, served her hot cocoa or coffee, I can't remember. And she came up to me, just dirty sweatshirt, just thin pants. She's probably in her mid-70s. And, straggly, sort of like smoke-stained hair, beautiful smile, missing most of her teeth, had these like black nubs for teeth. So this lady was at the study, and she told me, she's like, Andrew, she's like, all that I own is in my pockets of her sweatshirt. And she said, people steal stuff here. Just let that sit with you for a moment. This beautiful lady, bright eyes. She was at this Bible study, just getting love. Lady number 2, she was in the room in the Bible study when I walked in, and one of our volunteers touched her on the shoulder, which is a really common way to, just express care. But she recoiled. She's like, just immediately, didn't say anything, but just recoiled like she had been burned. So this is really common too. People that just don't want to be touched, because if you can imagine domestic violence or, rape or assault or all the things that takes place where people don't feel safe. But no matter what, this lady was in the room, wanted to hear about Jesus, wanted to hang out. So there she is. And then there is lady number 2 who I told you about, who is trying to engage Jesus, trying to think through spirituality, trying to make good decisions, trying to do AA and NA meetings. She's there also. And then another lady number 4 in this room, she's been in and out of homelessness, trying to escape, and she's just full of the Holy Spirit and is just ready to worship. When I did worship, I just did 2 songs. This lady was just praising Jesus and thanking him and so engaged. I almost couldn't finish the songs. I just wanted to cry, because this girl in all of her crisis was engaging God and worshiping him. So it was such a beautiful set. I didn't stay because obviously I'm not a lady, just do worship and I leave. But you guys need to know that God is at work, and he is doing good things with your prayers and with your support, both volunteer support, prayer support, financial support. We have 5 different active ministries, and God is doing some amazing things. So please check out our website connection that is in the email that I'm sending. And I just want to thank you guys for praying. So we're going to be doing our Jesus Church Outreach in downtown SLO tomorrow. So serving Costco hot dogs and water, donuts, having a Bible study, spending time with people, a couple hours of bike outreach. And then on Friday, we're having our Jesus Coffee Outreach at the shelter. So please continue to pray, and bless you guys, and thank you for all that you guys are doing. I love you very much. Bye.